All right, so this Montrose apricot tree, it's a young 2 to 3 year old apricot tree. This tree is gonna go in that hole. Look at this thing. It already has some fruit on it. Check that out.
So where's this tree gonna go?
This tree gonna go in that hole.
Okay.
You're gonna plant this tree in that hole.
Okay.
Hey, Tiff.
Hey.
Hey, everybody's Dre here and Tiff. So, we're not on a cruise, but that's later to come this year. We'll talk about our cruising activity that we have planned out in December. So, during these trying times, Tiff and I were motivated from a gardening YouTuber. Who's the guy?
Leadfarmer 73.
Leadfarmer 73. That brother has got a channel.
Yeah, he got us motivated.
Truly motivated. Very inspirational. He has a large following, very educated, and he keeps it simple,
Yes.
to the point. He's all about organic gardening, reusing things. Just a beautiful, beautiful guy. And
He's
we want to,
all kind of gardening.
yeah. So Tiff was really inspired by this. I was like, this is going to be tough because we have a lot of hail here around June. And so I watched his channel, and I'm like, you know what? He's about growing your own food. And that's what we're doing right now. So this apricot tree is one of our first fruit trees going in that hole. We already planted this one here. This is the Tillman apricot tree. And it's starting to develop some fruit too. So my understanding, if you're going to grow an apricot tree, it needs to have soil that's got a high drainage to it. So in our mix here, we have a lot of perlite to improve the drainage. And we have a compost, all organic compost, to also improve the drainage. Apricot trees like nitrogen, so we'll have a nitrogen fertilizer mix to go in there. And let me take you around here. You'll see little bits of the garden. So we're gonna mix some of this in here. It's a blood meal, has a high concentration of nitrogen, high percentage of nitrogen in it, 14% nitrogen. So we're gonna mix this in the soil. And perlite is excellent for drainage. So we're gonna put a large amount of perlite in because we wanna keep this soil nice and drained. We don't want the roots of this tree to be settled in there. One nice thing about this whole location, it's on a hill. So I'm gonna plant the tree more uphill than downhill. And then as we water it, the water goes down through the root ball and drain this way. And hopefully it continues to drain out. So I put a nice layer of soil, compost. It's about 3 inches in there now. I'm gonna put more in there. And we're gonna set that tree towards the center. Now I may end up with like this wall here, because remember this is the lower part, and if I end up with this wall, I'll probably put some retainer bricks around it. Our soil here in Colorado is a mix of clay. There's really nothing good in here. It's just clay, hard clay. And when you wet clay, it swells and it moves. Thus the high soil swelling area that we're in. Okay? So we're gardening, y'all. What we got here, Tiff?
Let me see. I think we got a tomato plant, cucumber plant. I think that's a pepper. I'm not sure. Can't see the tag. These are purple kale. And
they look gorgeous. I don't know if you can see that through this mesh here.
This is supposed to be a squash, but it's flowered.
Well, yeah, so that's going to eventually turn into the squash. So it'll flower, and you can see the plant in there, and it's real pretty.
I think that's a pepper plant.
Yep.
Can't see the tags anymore.
Yeah.
And let me see what this is. Is that a pepper plant?
Mm-hmm.
It's an orange. I forgot all about that. It's an orange bell pepper. Oh. I'm having a little difficulty here. Yeah, it's an orange bell pepper.
Okay.
We got beans along, green beans along the back.
Love it. Those look really good.
Yeah.
And they'll grow up that trellis here we have.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what's with these bags?
This is called a wicking system. You use canvas bags with you put your soil inside your bag, and then you set the bag inside of rock, inside of a container. And as you water, the water that collects down in the container, and also with the plant, as the water drains away from the plant, you can actually suck it back up because it's in the container with the rock.
Right.
It's called a wicking system. And because we're on a hill, we have holes in the containers, and as we water will then float to the back out the hole into our green beans and water the green beans. So we're trying to save water, use water more effectively, and not dry out these plants. A lot of water is needed.
We put this rock in here so that we don't have standing water. So if you get standing water, you have a high probability of getting mosquitoes, and we don't want to grow mosquitoes back here. So the rock will help with the evaporation of the water. It'll give the bags a nice footing so that they can suck up the water, the moisture from it. And we, once again, we have the holes in the back of the container, so you can't overfill this, and if it rains, it's just going to drain off. Got a really nice heirloom tomato plant here. That's going to grow up high. What's this, lavender?
This is lavender. We have here is eggplant, Japanese eggplant.
This is the Japanese eggplant. Now, if you're wondering what these bottles are, okay, so we watched this YouTuber. I don't know his name, but I'm sure there's a lot of channels. And what they did was they put this borax and sugar and honey. Oh yeah, you can see the ants in there already. Look at there too.
Yep, I see them now.
And so the ants will go in through this hole here, and they will get this sugar borax mix. They'll either get stuck in there and die, or they'll take pieces of that sugar borax mix back to their ant colony and kill off the colony. So we save these bottles and we use them as ant traps, like a natural ant trap.
Right.
We have the netting to try to discourage birds or squirrels from going into the plants.
Right.
We got a little work center over here we put together, a little table. Tiff's got a nice gardening setup here with her tools and everything like that. Now we tried a wicking system in this container here, and in here are water bottles, and this tube, the idea behind this is to water into the tube, and the water bottles in here, the gallon jugs, have holes in them, and what that's going to do is allow the water to settle in the bottom, and then there's a hole right here to help the water drain off. But what we're finding is that it's not draining, or these lettuce plants are not sucking or using as much water as I thought they would use. And this is like a red romaine lettuce plant here. Very pretty. It's doing very well. We notice it does well in partial sun and shade area. But there's a lot here. This thing is heavy when it gets wet, and it smells bad. So we're gonna break this apart And I heard that when you smell like rotten eggs or something like that in your soil, that's a bacteria or some type of infection or whatever is growing in the dirt. And so we're not too keen about eating this lettuce. So if you guys know if it's okay to eat this lettuce, put a comment down below. But we're new at this gardening, and the last thing I want to do is eat something and get sick and die. I don't want to get sick from eating something because we did not have the knowledge in what we were doing. But we're learning, and we're watching videos.
Be careful.
And watching YouTubers around town.
Yeah.
And learning from them. What's going over here, Tiff?
The first barrel is beets. Got 3 stalks of flowering beets, and then we have
Beets, okay.
And I think there's peppers in the next barrel. And
Okay.
then in the squares here, we got onions. We got these onions here, and you can see some little greenery coming through the bark, the red bark. This is yellow onions here, and that's red onions in those 2 boxes. And I planted some green onions.
Mm-hmm. And we got the mulch in there to help control the moisture.
Yeah, and then I got green onions in that. That's from store-bought green onions.
Mm-hmm.
And
so you're repurposing the store-bought green onions.
yeah, I'm gonna see how it does.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, just trying to have some hope here.
Right. Now this is an old oak tree. Sometimes it comes back out of dormancy and sometimes it doesn't. This year it's struggling to come back, but we're just going to keep watering it and tending to it to see what happens. It's coming back pretty good, but there's a lot of branches that didn't come back.
I'm working with her.
Yeah.
Gave her some food. And
Our maple tree looks really good.
yeah.
It came back really nicely. It's looking good. Now, this thing over here was my attempt at composting. All right, so I put these 2 together, threw a lot of the brown stuff in there. But I think what we're gonna do is buy a closed compost system. Because once this thing gets going, it's gonna smell pretty bad over here. So we don't want our neighbors to be upset about us growing compost and everything.
That's not a good idea.
Not a good idea. Now we tried to germinate some seeds in these small containers here. We didn't have any luck at that. So we're actually doing a different germination process inside. We'll show you a few seeds that we started to germinate, and they're coming along pretty good. Let's take a look at our herb garden. All right, y'all, so this is our herb garden. And we put this plastic over it to protect it from the wind, frost, early frost. Now this is the beginning of June, so the weather has been good here in Colorado. Our issue now is protecting our plants from hail, because now we're entering hail season, and that's not a good thing. So we got some sweet basil growing here really nicely. Beautiful sweet basil. We got some cinnamon basil here, a little bit spicier than the sweet basil. Our cilantro is doing great. It's bolting, so it really wants to shoot up and go to flower, thus go to seed. And so we've been cutting it and hoping to keep it back from bolting. Man, but look at this deal. And I know this deal wants to really grow big, but I mean, isn't that beautiful? That's beautiful. And it tastes good and smells good too. We've been drying it out. What else, babe? No, spider. Yeah. Sage. Look at that sage. Beautiful sage. I mean, the smell here is amazing. And then rosemary. Now this plant will get really big, so we've been cutting it and drying the cuttings and putting those in containers. And I'm gonna tell you, once you start drying your own herbs, You're not going to want to buy that stuff in the store anymore. It's overpriced, and this stuff is fresh, and you know what you use to grow it with. This is thyme, beautiful thyme. Little flowers there, it's not a problem. You could eat the flowers and dry those out too. So this is our herb garden. We got this little planter box set up, and you know, it's smelling good. It's smelling good. Because our dog, well, not our dog, dog next door wants to get in on the video. So I had another location for this tree. Now here's a word of wisdom. All right, if you got the cable and the telephone box in your backyard, it doesn't matter if you got it in your yard or not. You need to call the number in your local area to come out and put these marks on the ground so you know where not to dig. Okay, so we called these dudes up, and the only one that came out was the power people. So the response I got back from cable and telephone was, the area is all clear, no, not a problem. But guess what? I dug right here, and you can see the orange spot after they came out, after I dug, after I hit the cable. Hit it, cut it, and I fixed it. And they finally came out after I complained and told them that I hit their cable and repaired it. I'm still not sure what they're gonna do. I can't even get a hold of them. But anyway, they came out and marked the area. But I got cables running all across my yard, all along the back where people would grow nice things and trees and stuff. I mean, we got stuff all over the place. So this side of the yard is infested with cables. So everything here, all around here, we have to be careful. So this is why this area here has been our growing area. This is south facing, which is really nice. So we get the sun from the east. We get the morning sun here. It goes over the house and goes to the west towards the mountains. And so we get a little afternoon shade over here. And so with our apricot trees being right here, right, they're gonna get the morning sun, and then they're gonna get the afternoon shade. And I think this is a good area for these trees because I think with the heel, I'm gonna get that drainage. I'm gonna have that gravity working for me here. And I think the trees are gonna do just fine. So our growing zone is 5A to 6A. Where we're located is closer to 6A. And these trees are rated for a hardiness zone of 5A. So they're gonna do just fine. They're deciduous trees. So apricot trees are great in colder climates like ours. But I gotta show these apricots one more time. Look at these bad boys. Look at these. Look at these guys. And then I'm so excited. I did not expect this to happen here. Oh my God, look at that. Look at that. So yeah, Leadfarmer 73. We're doing it, bro. We're growing our own food. Just like you said, get out there, get your hands in the dirt and grow your own food, because you don't know what things are gonna look like in the future with all this craziness going on and everything right there. You just don't know. So I want to personally thank my wife, Tiff, for inspiring me, introducing me to Leadfarmer. And Leadfarmer, you have really
Inspired,
yes,
motivated
yes,
us to grow our own food. We tried last year and it wasn't successful because of the hail damage.
yeah,
But we got motivated again. We could do this.
yeah. I mean, and we don't have a big yard. We don't have a big yard.
Leadfarmer 73 showed us that you can do it just on a small patio if that's all you have.
That's right. Now we're container and raised bed gardeners, okay? Because the soil is hard, it's clay and everything like that. We don't want to plant directly in it. So it's so much easier to plant in a raised bed, a barrel, a container. The bags are amazing. We reuse some Walmart bags.
Oh yeah.
And we bought the black ones off of Amazon. Now, you get about a 2-year off of those bags from Walmart, but the ones from Amazon, the thicker bags, they're built for this type of gardening, and they will last a lot longer, and they're not that expensive. And there's a ton of suppliers for those bags online, so we like it. And what a natural thing that you get with the bags is you get this root pruning thing going on. So as the roots work their way towards the edge of the bag, they hit the air and the heat, and they tend to break off. So this natural root pruning goes on in these bags, and that's a good thing. So you get this wicking effect from the water, you get this natural pruning from the bag itself as the roots go towards the edge of the bag, and that just makes for an all-around healthy planting situation, right? All right, so that concludes our growing part of the video. All right, once again, this is not a growing gardening channel. However, when we're not cruising, we're gonna be doing something.
Yes.
And we're gonna take you along on our journey. So right now, this is about life with Tiff and Dre. And until we get you back on the next cruise ship, which will be
December 2020.
December 2020. What are we doing, Tiff?
What are we doing, Andre?
Let's see. We're going to Oasis of the Seas.
Royal Caribbean?
Royal Caribbean. That's our ship.
Yeah.
Royal Caribbean, Oasis of the Seas.
Yes.
Out of Fort Lauderdale. And we're going to do it a week before Christmas.
Right.
I think it's like December 13th. Right? We've got some stops in there. I think St. Kitts, St. Thomas maybe.
Yes.
And
Coco Cay.
perfect day at Coco Cay.
Yeah.
Right? It's gonna be nice.
Yeah.
And we have a suite.
So it's going to be nice.
It is. It is. So our daughter's coming along with us on this cruise, and we're gonna film it. We're gonna film that cruise.
Yeah.
Talk about some of the things on the Oasis of the Seas. We love the Oasis class ships.
Yeah, and we will. This is definitely will be a well-due vacation for what's going on in 2020. Since January, we will definitely need to have a nice long vacation.
Yeah. So we're doing good. We're doing good. We're blessed.
Yes.
We've been following our state local guidelines for taking care during this particular pandemic. Washing our hands, wearing our mask, sanitizing, social distancing.
Yes.
It is depressing to see other people walking around in the stores without a mask on. I wish the leadership would have made wearing masks a priority in the beginning of the pandemic, because what we have learned is the mask is not there just for you. The mask is there so that you don't get someone else sick from the projectiles that you may emit from your mouth when you're talking. Believe it or not, there's a lot going on, even when I'm talking right now. But Tiff and I, if she get it, I got it. If I got it, she's gonna get it. That's what love is. That's just how it's gonna be, right? And I ain't worried about that. In fact, I wish we can just get this thing and get it over with and get some immunities going so we can go about our life.
I'm going on about life right now. I'm not gonna let it stop.
Yeah. So wear the mask in public. Do it for your neighbor. Do it for those people. Protect yourself, because you could be asymptomatic, and if you are, you could be a spreader. And if you're not wearing a mask, you're not aware of this, and you could come in contact with a person that has what do they call it? Premorbidities?
Yeah.
Morbidity, or they'll have
Comorbidities.
that's it. Pre-existing conditions that could cause more problems with this particular virus. So speaking about viruses, real quick, we got off of the Liberty of the Seas, right?
December of 2019.
That was our last cruise, Liberty of the Seas, and we got some videos out there about it. So make sure you check out our Galveston, Texas, Liberty of the Seas videos. But we have them out there. I got sick. Tiff got sick, and we got sick around February time frame. We have there's a Facebook channel that we were part of for Liberty of the Seas, and there are other passengers on our ship that were talking about getting sick, and we all had the same symptoms. And I'm gonna be honest with you, in February I had all of the coronavirus. I probably shouldn't have said that on this video. I have all the symptoms of the Rona.
of this virus.
Of this virus. I had them all, but I couldn't get a test because at that time the only people that could get a test were the people that were in contact, recently traveled to China, were in contact with somebody that tested positive for the particular virus. But I had all the symptoms, and I'm gonna tell you, it was flu-like symptoms, but I tested negative for flu, and I tested negative for strep throat. Tiff, you had cold-like symptoms. Yours were much milder.
Yes. I just had a regular head cold.
Yeah, I couldn't even breathe.
I was only down for 4 days.
Yeah, no, I was down for about 3 weeks. I couldn't even breathe. I was walking, I would walk, I would be out of breath, and I was coughing, a dry cough. I'm gonna tell you, you guys, I honestly thought I had it. So when the time came for us to take an antibody test to see if we developed the long-term antibodies, we tested negative. Tiff and I tested negative for that. So we don't have, according to this particular test, we don't have any long-term antibodies. But that doesn't mean that we did not have it. It just means at the time of that testing, we did not develop any long-term antibodies. So it's very possible that we could have had it, developed symptoms, got better, developed some short-term antibodies, and then those antibodies are no longer traceable, and we didn't take that test for short-term antibodies. The test we took was looking for the long-term antibodies. We have not taken the test to see if we have it now. I don't want to take it right now. I feel great. I'm only going to take it if I develop symptoms, or if I know that somebody from work comes to work and says, hey, my wife tested positive, my kids tested positive, and now because I've been in contact with you, you probably should go take a test. That's the only time I'm going to take it, So it's good. It's good. We're healthy right now. We're going to stay positive. I think there's a lot to be said about maintaining a positive attitude. Staying active. Gardening lifts the spirit. It develops a certain amount of happiness when you're able to make your own food. And satisfaction. Yeah, and satisfaction. Now, some may say, okay, look at all this stuff that you purchased, the water and everything like that. I don't think that's what it's about. I don't think it's about that. I think it's about getting out there and growing some food for yourself and your family, making mistakes, learning from your mistakes, watching videos from YouTubers like Leadfarmer 73, and then other YouTubers out there that specialize in this particular thing. But that's what we're doing. That's how we're getting smart about this. Okay?
I just think, find what you like to do and engage in it, because consume yourselves in it, daily, just to feed your joy.
Absolutely. All right, so we're gonna end this. And thanks for checking this video out on our channel. We're gonna try to put out some more videos to kind of keep you guys updated on what we're doing, some of the things going on. I'll probably put out a follow-up video on this apricot tree and put some videos out so we can track the success and how well our apricot tree is doing. And then if we get any more interesting things in our garden, we can talk about that. Oh, I forgot. The seedlings. Oh, let's go. Let's take a quick. Yep, let's take a quick pick inside. The seedlings. All right. So our dining room has now become a small nursery for seedlings. Here's some clippings from one of our tomato plants outside. Put them in the bottles, develop the roots, you can grow them. Here's other seeds that managed to germinate. And here's some herbs here that are growing, right? So this is not gonna be here for long. We have to regain our dining room table back and everything. But I wanna show you something else too. So this was a YouTuber that showed us how to germinate some seeds. Let me get this open here. And he used a paper towel. Put the seeds, kept them moist. And these are turnip greens. Look at that. Look at the small baby plants growing in here. So it's a simple thing. Plastic container, paper towel, wet it, put a lid on it to keep it moist, like a little greenhouse effect, and keep it out of direct sunlight, more like in a shaded, slightly sun area. And we got it on the bar. Why not? Grow some turnip greens on top of the bar, and there you have it. There you have it. Turnip greens in the house on the bar. Another trick here. See this bottle? That's one of these Delight International Creamer bottles. Don't throw these away. These are excellent water bottles. Look at there. Excellent. So if you collect these and throw these away, if you don't put them in the recycle bin, recycle them, use them as water containers for your garden. All right, that's it. Thanks guys for watching our video, and thanks for coming by, checking us out on TIFF DRE TV. See y'all later.
Bye.
Bye-bye. All right, so I told y'all that I was gonna get that tree in that hole. I got that apricot tree in that hole. Yes, sir. Now, I did a lot of extra perlite in there with this. And then we had the raised bed soil mixed in with the perlite and the bone meal. So yeah, let me show you this. Blood meal. Thank you, babe. Blood meal. Mixed in. A couple of cups of that. Mixed in with the soil. Adds a little bit more nitrogen.
What is blood meal?
It's bone mixture, ground up bone meal mixture, everything like that. So then I put the mulch. This is just regular old red mulch here. Put it on the side to give it some water retention and probably cut down on the weeds. And then I built up this clay area. I used the leftover soil. I didn't put any of that soil, the clay soil, back in the hole. All I did was use the raised bed garden mix from Miracle Grow. And I'm gonna tell you, that stuff, that's some funky stuff. And when it comes to organic gardening, funky is good. So we got some funky stuff going on here. And I think I got a little drip on the lens. Yeah. Started raining. Yeah, so we're getting some sprinkles right now. But I just want to let you guys know, we got that tree in that hole. And here's the story beginning for the Montrose Apricot Tree on the TIFF DRE garden show. I don't know. I guess we can have TIFF DRE. Oh, so the other apricot tree, I forgot to mention it. Did I mention? The Tilton. Tilton. We got this at a local nursery. Both of these trees were under $100, about $80, $89.
Shout out to Spencer.
Shout out to who, babe?
Shout out to Spencer Nursery in Fountain, Colorado.
That's right. Spencer Nursery, Fountain, Colorado. They do a good job. Local nursery here. But just in time for some rain. It may be coming. It's kind of drizzling here. I'm gonna put an ant trap in there also. But I'm just loving it. Just loving it. Can't wait to try some of these apricots. So there you go. YouTube, home gardening. We're doing it our way.
Yeah, and this is how you learn.
And this is how you learn. All right, see y'all around.